episode of Spinning Dreams. My name is Laura, and this is where I talk about the creative things I've been up to lately. Mostly knitting, but sometimes sewing, like in this episode. And yeah, I can't wait to update you on what I've been up to. So grab something warm to drink and let's get started. Lately, I've been working almost monogamously, on my Botanist Cardigan by Thea Coleman. And I started this last year. I think it was earlier than this time last year. And I thought I might get it done last year. Probably sometime around this time or just a little bit later. So it's been a while. I think it's fair to say that it's one of those projects where I just had to get over the hump. And once I got over the hump, I was off and going. So let me show you the progress I've made. It's a beautiful cable pattern. I've talked about it before on my podcast on the vlog. So go ahead and take a look back at some of the previous episodes, but I'll show you here how far I've gotten. I feel like I've made some really good progress. So I've completed the body, and let me show you. It is glorious. I absolutely love it. And let me see, I just want to make sure that you can see this. And so that's the front. Oops, I've grabbed a cable. This is the back. And you can see the beautiful cable design running down the middle of the back. And then this beautiful texture here on the side, under the arm. There's a bit of a break there you can see. Is it gonna focus on this? Let me bring it back a bit. There we go. So you can see it's just beautiful texture, beautiful design, really. And I'm just gonna try it on now. I haven't tried it on yet, so this is my first go. Because that's how life is for me these days. I don't have a moment to think, I feel. So let's see if I can stand up. Oh gosh, I'm really close. Sorry about that. I can't even really back up. But it's fitting. It's fitting well. And it is, yeah, it actually fits really well. I've blocked it. I've blocked the top bit. Let me move my hair so you can kind of see. Yeah. So the cable's opened up nicely when I blocked it. And you can see here where the collar will finish and the button band will begin. And yeah, it's sitting really nice. I'm enjoying this. This is really turning out nicely, I think. You can see in the back there. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a collar here. And I can do like a shawl collar, I think, or I can just do like a simple rib collar. And I'm pretty sure it's a rib collar. I need to look at the photo. I'll insert a photo so we can see. And then it'll have a button band going down the front. The sleeves obviously will be here. It won't be a vest. And I think it's just about the right length. It's just hitting me below, kind of at my hip area, like just top of my thigh, hip area. So that should be about right for me. I wasn't sure about the length. I don't know if you remember me asking, like, how long should this be? I may add pockets. I just need to see how it all comes together, and I'll go from there. So yeah, that's turning out really lovely. My favorite part about this whole project is the wraps here in this design. I love wrapping stitches. It's so fun. Like, it's addicting. I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about, like, you know, snuggling up a bunch of the stitches that you got on your needles. I don't know. I'm probably a bit weird, but I love it. I've also finished one sleeve, so I can show you that. Here it is. That's the top of the sleeve, so it would be folded over like this. So this is the underarm section here. And then it goes all the way down, it tapers. Let me open it back up. Tapers into the wrist area here, which is a 1x1 cuff here. And you can see the cable motif goes into the cuff as it did on the body. So just a really lovely design. The sleeves are actually going really fast. I, hear about Sleeve Island, and I didn't really feel like it was Sleeve Island at all. I felt like more like Body Island because the motif was so big, especially across the back. But thankfully, that's the first part that you do. And so once you're through with that, everything else goes a bit quicker. The front and, the left and right fronts go really fast. And then the sleeves, likewise, go very, very quickly. So, yeah, I'm loving it. And then here's the second sleeve in progress. It's my little cable needle there, and I'm using my ChowGoo fixed needles, 4mm. And got something tangled up here. And you can see here my stitch markers. They're not my favorite colors, but they're very bright and they're visible. And what I've been doing is, since I've finished the first sleeve, I've just been removing the markers. This is for my increases, by the way, to increase my sleeve as it gets, bigger, as my arm goes up. It gets bigger. So I have been removing the stitch markers from my completed sleeve as I increase on this sleeve, if that makes sense. So I don't have to count again. I just kind of take I counted on my first sleeve, and since I did that with stitch markers, now all I have to do is move one stitch marker to the other sleeve as I go. I don't know if I explained that right. I felt a little bit scattered. So anyway, it's just an easier way of doing second sleeve. So I don't know what else to say about this, except that I'm very happy with the choice in yarn. It's Lion Brand Fisherman's in an oatmeal kind of color, and I feel like that's a very classic color. It's fairly timeless, and I really like the texture of the yarn. It's remarkably lofty, and it's such a loose twist, the spin, that it feels very fluffy and light also, even though it's quite a thick yarn. So I'm sure there's a more technical way of explaining all of that, but all that to say, I really like the way it's feeling in the knitted form. Like, the fabric that I'm making is really nice, and it's fairly dense but not too heavy, if that makes sense, because of the lightness of the yarn. And so it's a budget yarn, I would say. That's how I would describe Fisherman's, Lion Brand. And I'm gonna have loads left over, which I'm actually happy about. Maybe I'll make something for Mabel, I don't know. But I'm glad I went with budget, because I just think, there's a lot of things there are a lot of things I want to do, and I can't, splurge on everything. And I think this was a good, durable, yet budget yarn. So I'm really happy with my choice. And I cannot wait to wear it. The whole year I've been thinking, oh man, that's going to be so good with this outfit and that outfit, this situation and that situation, especially outside when I'm taking walks or outside with my daughter, just exploring. So I cannot wait to wear it. I can't wait to show you the finished object. So hopefully soon. I'm just going to keep plugging away monogamously, I think. So that is my Botanist cardigan. The other thing I want to talk about, knitting related, is some beautiful yarn I came across with my mom, actually, when she was visiting in September. We went to a local yarn shop in Dalgathlai, which is not far from where we are, and it's just a small town, but beautiful town. And so we went to this yarn shop, and she, the owner, the lady, was starting to kind of change gears. So she had a bunch of packaged up yarn that she was about to finish. She was gonna discontinue it in her shop. She wasn't going to continue selling it. And so there were a few things there that I probably wouldn't be able to get again from that shop anyway. So I think I might be able to pick up some of it elsewhere, but I was really happy that I happened upon it before she had said goodbye to it, because I probably wouldn't have discovered it otherwise. I've researched local yarns, local Welsh yarns, quite a bit on the internet and I've spoken to a few people, but I'm finding it tricky to find what I'm looking for. So it's these, just serendipitous moments where I'm connecting with someone that I find these treasures. So I'm really happy about that. Without further ado, I found this yarn called, I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's called Mayan, I think. Meian. I will put a link to it because there is actually a website for this yarn, but I had never seen it before. So I've actually taken the label off and my husband Mark wound it into a lovely ball. And you can see that it's just in its natural state. This is a natural cream sheepy color, and it's a single ply, and it's very similar to Istex Lopi, Lopi. So kind of like between a Plotu Lopi and Let Lopi. And I have never worked with Plotu Lopi, but I do work with Let Lopi. So I am familiar with this type of rustic yarn. And I have to say, I think I might actually prefer this one. So I don't know if you can see, but it's a little bit different to Icelandic. So this is Welsh yarn, Welsh wool. And it is a bit different to Icelandic wool, and that, to me anyway, this is all just my experience. I'm not telling you facts, but just my experience. Facts according to Laura. That it just seems a little bit loftier. It doesn't have as much drape. It's more of from my point of view, like if you're going to compare like worsted and wool and spun, that kind of thing, where there's just a lot of air flowing through this. Now, I love Lopi yarn, so I'm not biased one way or the other in the sense of I will use this one and I will use the Lopi for different projects. But I think I prefer this one because it's easier on my hands, because it's a bit lighter. I prefer to knit with this one, I think is what I'm trying to say. So I'm wondering now, I really want to try Plotu Lopi and see how it compares. This one doesn't seem as fragile as what I've heard Plotu Lopi can be. But I don't know. I've never worked with Plotu Lopi. Maybe I wouldn't break Plotu Lopi as easily as somebody else. I don't really know. It's all just, I don't know how to compare these things. So I will have to get some Plotu Lopi, I think, and test and see what I think of the two. All of that to say, I like this. And I started to swatch with it for a jumper for a cardigan, actually, for my little daughter. And I took it off the needle, so it's kind of bit flimsy here, but you can see I just used Let Lopi and some blue sky fibers. I'll have to put a link or something to what I've used, but I'm not sure I'm going to keep going with this design, so I'm not sure I'm even going to continue using the blue sky. I'm not sure, but anyway, and some of Mark's handspun there at the top. This is Mark's handspun, the blue sky, and the Lopi, Let Lopi. And it's because I did some color work, it's very thick and warm, but also very light. And I think it could be a very fluffy and light cardigan for Mabel. So we'll see if I end up doing that. But I just wanted to mention, because I know like a year ago or something, I was talking about how I really wanted to find some Welsh yarn. I found some Welsh wool to spin up, but I hadn't, some fiber, but I hadn't found the Welsh yarn that I was really looking for. So this is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. And I will let you know as I go what it becomes. Probably a cardigan, like I said, but we'll see. You never know. I change my mind sometimes. So yeah, that's the Mayan or Mayan. I'm totally butchering that, I'm sure. Another thing I have finished, actually, I have a finished object, is this beautiful, to me, blanket quilt for Mabel. It's her baby quilt, and I actually really like it. It was all plant dyed. All the colors that you see are plant dyed on an organic brushed cotton from Green Fibers, and I machine pieced the patchwork, and I hand stitched the quilting, and with just some cotton, some hand stitching cotton, and I think it turned out beautifully. The binding is also machine adhered, but then I also, on the reverse, I have hand slip stitched it, which is what I always do for my quilts, and it has a mitered edge there. It's kind of hard to tell. It's quite a light fabric, so it's hard for me to get the right angle to show you the mitered. It's very small as well, the mitered edge. But anyway, it was a delight to do. The back is avocado dyed. I remember that color. We did avocado. I've also done, you can see it better on this side actually, some little knots. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Some little knots here in the centers of these big white patches, and yeah, that holds it together a bit better. When you quilt, you're meant to have only a certain amount of inches between your quilted stitches, because the batting, which is sandwiched in the middle, can have a tendency to pull apart because of the nature of how it's put together. So you don't want to go for long distances without having stitching somewhere to keep all of your batting in place. Otherwise, as you wash it and use it over time, the quilt, it will the batting will kind of separate. And we probably all experienced a blanket where the batting or the filling has kind of gotten lumpy, and you're not as warm then in certain places because there's a hole in the batting. So that's why I've tacked down in certain places, as well as done the running stitch across. Let me see if I can hold this up so that you can get a better idea. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this project. It's probably somewhere around 4 feet by 4 feet, maybe a little bit smaller than that, 3 by 3, something like that. So it's square, it's not very big, but it'll be perfect, and it is perfect for us here, for Mabel at her stage. She's just coming up to her first year, her 1-year birthday, and I'm so excited. That's the end of this month in November, and I just can't believe it's been a year. I really can't, and it's been such a fun year. It's been a very busy year. I haven't been this busy in a while. But it's been so fun to get to know her, and yeah, she's just such a delight. Here I am, the mom, bragging about her daughter. But I just, as you know from my previous episodes, we waited for so long for Mabel. And so it's just so fun to be parents and to experience her and all of parenthood so far. So yeah, this is one of her keepsakes that she'll have going into her life, and I can't wait to make more. And yeah, that's her quilt done, and I can highly recommend all of the fabric that I used. The organic cotton, brush cotton, is very soft and snuggly, and yeah, vegetable dyeing, what a fun journey, I don't know, but what a fun thing to try. I think we would love to try vegetable dyeing again soon. But again, time and just the brain space for it. We just don't have the brain space for it at the moment, but we will. We will in the future. Because it's just so much fun. Like, who wouldn't want to keep doing that? I don't know. It's fun. So that's it for me for creativity these days. I mean, I've always got more ideas percolating, and I've always got more things on my list that I can ever accomplish. But for me right now, this is what I'm able to do successfully and finish. So I think I'm feeling quite good about it, especially my cardigan. But even like the quilt and just finding and sourcing Welsh yarn, that feels like an accomplishment as well. So yeah, I think we're just looking forward to a season of visiting now. We have Mark's parents coming soon to our house again, and we have the holidays coming up, which I think we will be visiting them, Mark's parents again, and seeing Mark's brother and sister and their families. And I think it'll be just a really cozy holiday season. I'm loving autumn and I can't wait for winter. Yeah, I feel like I'm my mother's daughter. If she's watching this, she knows what I mean. I have grown to love the seasons, especially the colder ones. I used to just be a summer girl, summer baby, summer, but I have changed, I think, over the years, and that might be partly to do with knitting and all the cozy craft that you could do inside. But also I think it's just when you, oh gosh, here I go waxing. When you get older, you appreciate, oh gosh, that sounds really deep, really deep. You appreciate the darkness and the receding of the light and the hibernation. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe not everybody who gets older feels this way, but all that to say, I'm looking forward to the colder and the wetter and the gloomier side of things so that we can have our little candles and our hot drinks and our knitting inside and watch it all happen outside. So I wish you all well in this autumn and wintry season, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, very different, spring and summer coming up. So yeah, and I know it's hard sometimes with the holidays, but I hope that you're all able to be at peace and have your craft ready at hand. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.